Well, I know we had a couple games. Obviously, last time we met, and we had games around the dead period, and we haven't had a chance. And we got all the paperwork back, so we haven't had a chance to talk about our recruiting class, which we couldn't be more excited about. Obviously, just adding TJ, but that class of Lonzo Ball, TJ Leaf, EK, and Kobe is very special because we get a big guard, we get a versatile guard, we get a versatile big. They can play guard forward, and EK is a true center. So we met all of our needs in the 16 class. All California guys that we're excited about. They're excited about, and that makes it very exciting. And I was just today, somebody was asking me about well, how and why and how's all that happen and why come to UCLA, and that's the exciting part, because when you're in the second largest market in the country, and you're in an academic institution that's top 10 in the world, most applied to university in the world. Those are special things. And then you add our tradition here of 112 national titles, most in the country, 11 in basketball, most in basketball. You almost have to find a reason why not to come here. And it's a culture of excellence that now that we've been here 2 years, I think now these young players are seeing how we let them play. We don't handcuff them, we don't micromanage, we give them the freedom to play through the teachings and fundamentals of what we're trying to do. So for those guys to commit to here, we're pretty excited, and we're a long way down the road now in 17, and hopefully that continues. But any questions about those guys, that's a pretty special class that we've been able to put together.
They're all Southern California kids, all four of them. Did you place an emphasis on recruiting?
Well, I think what happened, 2-3 years ago when we got here, you have to kind of go where they're at and where we've had some connections as a new staff, and where the players are. And I think that class coming out, we ended up able to get to Isaac, and Isaac ended up being a McDonald's All-American from the area, the only one at that time. So I think the talent pool now is up in Southern California, and you're looking at potential multiple McDonald's All-Americans. We got Tom Welsh, we got Aaron Holiday, we got Isaac. So we were able to get the guys that we really wanted in Southern California. But really, the 16 class, if you told me what was our 4 targets, all 4 of those were targets. So to get them all, we're excited about it, and I think that's really helping us move forward in the 17 class because we're getting good commitments there that are targets as well.
Do you have plan numbers to fill, or is this going to be it?
16 class? Yeah, if there's no other movement, that'll be it. Obviously, again, that's another special thing about UCLA. You have one and dones, you have 2 and dones, you have 3 and dones, you have 4 and dones. So you never know how that works as the season goes along. So you're always constantly recruiting, but we knew if we had 4, because we had the majority of this team back. Tony's your only senior, so the majority of this team, we're 2 scholarships under now. So you get the majority of this team back. We're pretty pleased with what it looks like going forward next year.
Is the plan to take Bryce off scholarship?
Yeah, if we're at 13, which right now obviously we're 1 over. So again, if it stays just like that, then Bryce will come off and be a walk-on. And he's had no issue with that. His whole issue was basically just coach, make sure he can really play. TJ can really play, so he fits the mold.
What kind of advantage is it to be able to get an extra guy because of that flexibility?
Well, it's huge. You look at Coach McDermott's been able to do it along the way. There's been other coaches that have been able to. Coach Kruger did that when he was at Vegas, and there's been other coaches that have had the opportunity to coach their children to where, if it presents that, the last couple of years that ain't presented it because we haven't got to 13 yet. Because when we got here, we only had 7 on scholarship. So now we're building that base where we're building the kind of the culture of how we recruit. So now we get into year 4 now, and we got a lot of guys wanting to come here. So it's fun being on the other end now where it's being very selective again, and that's really what UCLA should be because of the culture of excellence here, and we're getting to that point. And the 16 class is kind of the first to get us to that 13 limit. So now if we go over that, then Bryce will come off.
We're gonna this week the game.
Yeah, this is we don't get a chance to breathe, and I don't say that I'm very respectful of who we played. I thought Monmouth in game one did a really good job in here, and we turned the ball over too much. 23 turnovers is it's just not who we are. That's not who we've been over the last 2 years, and so it was very uncharacteristic. It was what you're always afraid of in openers as a coach, because there's not a lot of tape. But when you're just handing the ball to the next team, it just breaks down and affects everything. And what I was really pleased with, I thought we played a really good, scrappy Cal Poly team that could really shoot the basketball, and we found a way to win, and we didn't turn the ball over. I think we only had 11 turnovers, so we go from 23 to 11. That's a learning process, and that's where we got to get our ball control, because we got really good guards. We got good passing big men. We've got to control the ball to where we give I think we can score a lot of different ways, but if we're turning it over, that then impacts our defense. And we got a long way to go defensively, but I think the turning the ball over and shots that we may be taking with new guys trying to get involved, that's affecting our defense. I think eventually our defense will settle down. It's got to, because it's nowhere near where we got to have it. But I thought we saw some improvement in the Cal Poly game, and now here we get hit with, Pepperdine. All 5 starters are back. They're picked to finish 3rd behind BYU and Gonzaga in their league. They've never been at that point. Marty's done a tremendous job building the program, and so it's the 3rd team in a row that we get in here that they know all about Poly. They all know about being in here, and they believe. And so it's always a difficult opponent when that happens.
Pepperdine also isn't a huge team like the 2 teams you played. Is it the same type of matchup issues?
Yeah, I think they'll probably. I don't think they'll play anybody over 6'8". So again, it's we're playing big and they're playing smaller, so it's kind of who can win that style. And that again is the hard part with Monmouth and Cal Poly. Same way, you're not really being able to match big while teams are playing small ball, and you're asking Tony to do it for the first time. We really haven't, because of depth. We haven't had a chance to do that last year. We wanted to, and we didn't have the depth to do it last year. So it's, even though Tony's a senior, it's his first time really having to play big, and offensively it looks incredible. I mean, we're a hard matchup. It's been great on the backboard, but we do have to learn defensively how we're going to guard playing big.
In the first game against Monmouth, Aaron had I think it was like 5 or 6 turnovers. In the second game, he had maybe 1 really decreased.
Right.
Did you guys give him a chance to kind of work through?
We always do that. The thing I like about Aaron's a competitor, and he came running up to me in the handshake line. We hadn't got to the locker room. He said, that was better, right? And he didn't know how many assists he had or anything, but he's like, one, that's all I had, 1 turnover. And because, that's when you're a ball handling guard. He and Bryce are ball handling guard, Isaac's ball handling guard. These guys need to be closer to 2 to 1 assist turnover ratio, not the other way. And Aaron was upset. He had 1 assist, 6 turnovers. And to flip that as a freshman 2 nights later and be 7 assists, 1 turnover, it speaks of what Aaron is. But it's his first game. You'd like to have that opponent where you could have got a little anxiousness out of there and still be able to make some mistakes. You weren't able to do that against a Monmouth team. You got to at least value the ball. And so he learned a very quick, valuable lesson, as did all of our guards. It wasn't just Aaron in that first game. It was all of our guards. Way too much. If you're going to turn the ball over 3-4 times, you better have 8, 9, 10 assists. And that didn't happen in game 1. Game 2, it was much better.
Thomas Welsh seems to be shooting it a little bit better than he was last year. Is that more strength, or is it
Well,
just more comfort?
And we saw it coming. USA basketball was huge for him to gain confidence. We saw that as soon as he got back here in July and August. His confidence was off the roof, and that's where we needed him to believe in himself. And he's been really solid all the way through. The scrimmage, he was good. The exhibition game was good. The first 2 games, he's been really good. He and Tony are playing really well together. Tom didn't rebound like he had been rebounding in this last game, and that he was in the office today watching tape, and he knows that. He's a student. In fact, we had all the guys in today watch tape, and so it's a team that cares and they want to get better. And Tom's somebody that I think you're going to just continue. He stays healthy. You're just going to continue to see his upside, because he's got a big upside.
Of the forwards you've seen at his point in his development, how good is he at that baseline jumper?
Well, 17 feet in, you got to guard him. If you don't find him, he makes. And our guys would tell you that when they get in trouble, they're really trying to find Tom, because there's a high probability of an assist waiting on him just because he makes. We got to get him to the free throw line, and I told him today in film that's your next step, is to be even more aggressive when you're in the post. He does a really good job of spacing up and being ready to catch and shoot, and the guys are finding him now. Now the next step is getting him in the low post. And you know, when you're playing zones like we've had to play here in the last couple of games, and could get that again on Thursday night, that becomes a little different because you are doing a lot of spacing out on the floor against zones. But once we get into teams playing us man, and I think that happened to us against Cal Poly, I didn't think they could man us. And when they went man, we had a high efficiency rate, and because he's hard to guard down there. He and Tony are hard to guard down there. But once he establishes himself in the post, it could get that inside-outside game going. Because he's a good passing big man. We got to get him to the line because he can really make foul shots as well.
How was Jonah in his first action?
You know, outstanding. I was really pleased with him because not only was it his first action, he's been out really a year and a half. And very similar to Isaac a year ago. In your first game to be able to do the things, and not just numbers-wise, but I thought his conditioning was really good. I didn't see him fatiguing at all. I thought he competed at both ends. He turned the ball over at one end and chased down a guy laying it up, and they missed the layup because of his length at the other end. I liked his effort. I liked his attention to detail, and we're asking him to play multiple positions. We're asking him to play a stretch four, and we're asking him to play a big guard. So he's had to learn multiple positions along the way as well. So I thought it was very good, and he's going to be a big piece moving forward for us. Good?
That's good.
All right, thank you. Thanks.